We have Kate, the co-founder of HotTea Mama, and I'm so honored to have her to our interview. And then we're gonna deep dive into why they create HotTea Mama and what's their journey like, and also what their future and vision for this HotTea Mama. Now, that's welcome, Kate.
Nice to be here.
Kate is from UK, but she actually lives in Australia right now. Also, Bethan is another co-founder who is not available to join the interview today. So I actually want to know how you and Bethan met.
Well, I'm actually Australian and Bethan's British.
Okay.
But you're right, we met in the UK. So we met in the UK 18 years ago or something silly. So I was over there with my now husband. So he was studying at Oxford University and Bethan was studying at Oxford University. And so they were both, through her partner, they were aligned with the same college. So we met through, friendship groups, essentially. She's lovely. We got on really well. And then we've stayed in contact. So while we were over there, she was doing a degree in tea science through a university in China. So I just thought that she was fascinating, like what a cool thing to be doing. And then we sort of, have remained in contact since that point.
So why HotTea Mama? How you guys come up with this idea?
So I had 2 children like quite close together, kind of planned, but this is how things go. So it was really a period of 3 years where I was either pregnant and then you're breastfeeding and then pregnant again and then breastfeeding. So there's a span of 3 years there where your world is sort of working towards reducing caffeine or caffeine free, don't have this, you can't have that, for the pregnancy part, but also then other aspects for the breastfeeding part. And a lot of, I don't know if it's something that's in the US, but in Australia, we have these mothers groups that get formed and you can lean into once you've had a baby. And so you're sort of put with other people in your area who've got a new bub. And so the baby will be like 6 weeks old and then you'll all connect regularly once a week. And then everyone just is obviously sharing what's going on for them, like the challenges, the joys, it's a real like learning curve for everyone. And then you've got this wonderful group of people who in your area are in the exact same life stage as you are. And so it was sort of through that I witnessed, lovely friends who were just experiencing like breastfeeding struggles and looking out for fenugreek or looking out for fennel or talking about fennel seeds or hearing about a close friend who'd given me raspberry leaf when I was in 3rd trimester with my first bub. And then she'd also said, it doesn't taste nice, like it's hard to drink, but she was passing it on because she'd had it in her pregnancy and thought it was helpful. So it was sort of these natural solutions were being passed around for sort of, these seemingly normal experiences that women were facing. And then I obviously still knew Bethan. She was working for a big tea company at the time. And so I reached out and just said, look, I think that this needs to be put together as a brand where all the work's already done. So women can just know that it's a trusted brand. They're safe for pregnancy. They're safe for breastfeeding. Like you'd kind of take that stress out of it for people. And then also that fact that it's a support that can just help you on that journey. So that sort of all happened before I moved back to Oxford the second time. And Bethan was actually going through her own first pregnancy and, first birth at that point. She was in that whole haze, wonders of that time. And so I got zero reply to my message. And I thought, obviously, that's fine. She gets people probably pitch her ideas all the time. And then the two of us reconnected when we moved back to Oxford, and we were at a children's playground at this, a very English scene. So Blenheim Palace, which is this, obviously beautiful old palace. It's got this wonderful children's playground. And so we were just, surviving with the kids there. And I made mention of it in the car park, like, oh yeah, remember I sent that message? And she had no recollection of it whatsoever because of the, 4th trimester haze that she was in. But yeah, like overnight, she couldn't stop thinking about it, kind of immediately created sort of 6 blends, so 6 herbal blends that would naturally support like morning sickness, like the pregnancy phase, obviously the getting ready for birth, like 3rd trimester, breastfeeding, sleep, like it just all kind of just, her brain wouldn't stop ticking kind of thing. So it was from that point that we then sort of explored, and I did about a year of testing, and we created a couple of blends, and I went out to baby shows, and just we tried to just suss out like what the market opportunity is for this product and how ready the market is to receive something like this, and what are the costs involved, like all the joys of that. And so yeah, I'd moved back to Australia, and then we launched our website. So yeah, it was a very it's been an interesting way to run a business, in that I've been based in Australia since, and Beth has been in the UK, and our team has all grown and is in the UK. It's been an interesting way to do a business. I don't know if it would have been our ideal, but yeah, we've made it work.
Tell us about how you craft a blend and what's the process like?
What I find fascinating is that like Bethan's like taste palette and profile is kind of like being a wine sommelier, like where they just really can taste something and then really understand if something's out of whack, or is this a very well balanced, like, or is it too much lime flower, or it's too much, the chamomile's too strong, or something like that. And there's a big difference if I will taste something and I'll be like, it's nice, or like, I can tell if I like it, or if I can tell if, I'll test it with lots of other people and I'll go, what do you think? And like you can sense check it like that. But there's an expert understanding that she has that very much sits with her. And I think that's a really cool thing. So in terms of like product development, like in the early days where we were there together, she would craft the recipe. And so often at home, she would kind of mix the blend herself. And then we would ask a production tea producer, and then we'd sort of give them our recipe. And then they would sort of come up with like 3 or 4 different versions of that. And that would have differing amounts of maybe 5% lavender. I'm talking about our sleep tea at the moment. So it might have, maybe then if we tested it and received it, we'd find that the lavender was too strong, or maybe because it was a sleep tea, we really wanted to make sure, and this is where obviously Bethan pulled this together, but she knew that a chamomile flower base is just key, like for the properties of chamomile, but also for the flavor profile that it provides. And then to layer on top of it, we've got rooibos lime flowers, because they impact like stress and anxiety, but also have a calming, soothing impact, but there's a sweetness to it as well. So like I, as a layperson, would have never come up with let's add lime flowers to our blend. But this was all Bethan's doing. And then it's a matter of tweaking the end result that you have to make sure that it's something that you think is very well balanced, number one. So I think that's core to what each product that we try and make, is that it tastes good, number one, because that was a key thing with the raspberry leaf, was that everyone starts by saying it's very bitter. It's hard to drink. So we make sure all of our blends are very nice. And then the functional benefits of the herbs that we include are in there as well. So those two things have to go together. The other nice thing I think about the night owl, which is our sleep one, was we did end up adding, I don't know if you can see, these blue specks of corn flour. It just makes it a very pretty tea, and it just means that it's just such a pretty tea to look at, but also obviously to taste and enjoy. But I think, it's all together. Those 3 things need to be factored in.
What are the first few blends that you guys start with?
The standouts were our final push. So the final push is our raspberry leaf blend. We've blended it with peppermint. And so that was to make it nicer, but also the benefits of peppermint in digestion, because obviously when you're in your 3rd trimester, space gets tight. So that was a key thing to bring into it as well. So this is a core one, bestseller pretty much everywhere. And that's a really nice one, because I think in the US it's from 36 weeks that the guidelines are to start drinking raspberry leaf. And so we find that women tend to buy it in like a bulk pack of 4, and then they just blitz through it for the final. People then move on to like our breastfeeding support tea. So that's our Milks Up. I think there's the benefits around just hydration in general throughout a lot of these stages. And it's an alternative to water, isn't it? But it's got the functional benefits in there as well. So we do find that these two have been a very strong pair. It's just really nice because you're really supporting people through, that really crazy transition, which is, baby on the outside, and then you're in the 4th trimester. And, breastfeeding can be a beautiful process, but it also has challenges for a lot of people. So it's again just that idea of having something soothing that's warming to drink whilst you're feeding, but also that kind of background idea that you're not alone in doing this. So they were sort of the reason for those two. Our morning rescue, we did initially start it for morning sickness support. So it has a base of ginger root, like lemongrass, lemon verbena in there as well. And I think we've got some spearmint, lemon balm, that was the other one. So that was started for morning sickness relief and nausea. But what we find, which is a great thing, is that people just really enjoy drinking it. And so they tend to it is something that you can just drink throughout life. We did it for that specific purpose of morning sickness, but it's just a beautiful morning blend to have. And so a lot of people just buy it on the regular, have it on subscribe and save on Amazon, and just have it sort of a couple of mornings a week.
I know you also have a line for period support and also for menopause. Maybe you can talk about these two teas.
Yeah, so the first phase we did for our range was that pregnancy and postpartum support, and then obviously we recognized that how the needs of women were unmet throughout sort of period hormone health, and then through to like if perimenopause and to menopause women can experience symptoms for up to 15 years. So it feels like there should be some nice supportive products that are available to kind of aid you through that time. So we have our Over the Moon. So this was designed to help period PMS. So it has a base of raspberry leaf, which is again obviously used for uterine health, which is why it's used in 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It also is beautiful because it has a camel leaf, rose, and then we do have spearmint in this one. So again, it's just a couple of the key properties around these ingredients are to be supportive and calming and soothing to your monthly cycle. Following from that, we've used a green tea base for our menopause support tea. So the point for that is obviously everyone knows the benefits of green tea. Then we've also used obviously sage, licorice root, which is supposed to help soothe like hot flashes and things like that. We've got raspberry leaf in there again because obviously we're dealing with women's health issues. And then we have valerian in there as well because of its calming properties, but also how it's supposed to build up over time, age your sleep, because obviously the falling asleep and staying asleep can be things that creep up during the menopause period.
What's next in your product lines?
I think if you follow some of our socials, you'd sort of already see that some of the products that we have, and again, these are the difficulties of being global, is that we'd love to bring everything into the US and just have it all available right then and there. But unfortunately, we have to stagger it and we have to launch it in the UK, see how it goes, and then take those learnings into the US market. This one is a lactation hot chocolate. So it's got cacao, but it has brewer's yeast as the core ingredient for milk production or supporting your milk production. With our hot chocolates is that people are making it in all different ways. So some people are always having it with oat milk. Some people are making it cold, enjoying it cold. Some people are having it with water. Some people are having it with, cow's milk. It's just everyone's creating different ways to enjoy it. This is our Anne Breeze, which is a hot chocolate with ashwagandha core ingredient. So the purpose of that one, again, is just for women in general, but also to kind of be a nice supplement alongside our menopause support. So the one that we've got, Collagen Calm, is that hot chocolate with collagen. So we're looking forward to that one being available and seeing how seeing how sales go and seeing how people like it. We've also got Radiant Roast. So this is a decaf coffee with collagen. So again, we're trying to look after that core principle of reducing caffeine or caffeine free, or trying to be conscious of the things that women are looking out for, or ways in which they're modifying their lifestyle, perhaps. The other one that we're launching is a matcha latte. So a matcha latte powder, I would say. If you go with Bethan and go out to a cafe, she'll be getting a matcha. But then you get into the specifics around what type it is, where it's from, like the quality of it, those sorts of things. And so Bethan, who is a connoisseur of matcha, has made sure that it's a really beautiful premium blend that we have, that we're offering. So we're excited to get that to market, see what people think. And again, even from a branding perspective, like just the colors are amazing to see in people's, teacups and on socials. And I think that's a nice element to our brand that obviously we did think about, but it's wonderful to see people enjoying the product and sharing the product, doing that on their socials. So I think that's a really, evergreen concept that obviously the age and stage of, where society's at, but it's really cool from a brand perspective to just see it in all these different households, see it in all the people enjoying of all different life stages, and then seeing them enjoy the latte, or seeing them enjoy the hot chocolates, or seeing them enjoy the raspberry leaf, like all those sorts of things around the world is just really cool to see.
What's your ritual for returning to yourself when you're frustrated, or when you're in the middle of the chaos? You really want something to help you center yourself. What's the ritual?
It would be hilarious if you also had like my husband here, or you also had like, my kids or friends here. It'd be fascinating to hear their answers as well. But I would say exercise plays an important role, but also getting into the outdoors, in the sense of going for a swim in the ocean, I guess, feeling the physicality side of it, and just the endorphins that come naturally from that, to me, makes a difference. And then music is the other thing that I find. Sometimes I forget to go to it, but again, it's just that mood changer that it can immediately create. So I think with 3 kids here and a golden retriever, so chaos is something that we kind of have on the regular, but having the playlist going where it's just, the kids keep creating all these different playlists, but it might just be all like, women's like female like fight songs, or like pump up songs, or things like that. So having that on first thing in the morning as everyone's getting ready for school, you just see the mood immediately change. So I think those things are all like there. And then for me, the nourishing food and like good quality whole foods, less processed, all those sorts of things play a part. But that sort of just is the backbone of what you're having throughout the day. And then I think these other elements that you can experience are just a really nice way to sort of, lift you through it as well.
Great. I think we can close up. I do want to have one last quick question. What would you describe HotTea Mama in 3 words? What are they?
I would say nourishing. I would say authentic. And I would say supportive.
Now, HotTea Mama teas are available in the US and also available on Sippingly.com. Where other places that people can get your teas?
So in the US, our website, so HotTeaMama.com, Sippingly.com, a wonderful partner, and Amazon would be the other core place, and soon to be TikTok shop. Right. So I think that's going to be a winner for us as well. So would love to know what you think.
Thank you, Kate, for this interview. It's a wonderful conversation, and I learned so much about you and also HotTea Mama. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.